Hola amigos, again. In the middle of 1500 years, at night in the middle of a European village, husband carried a cup of wine that was offered by his wife. She gave it to him and sat right in front of him. Not saying any words, not doing any facial expressions, only waiting. It took only few minutes for him to start going from states of laughing into hysteria and a panic attack. He couldn't focus with his eyes anymore, and he felt like his heart couldn't stop beating stronger and stronger. And still his wife was sitting just observing and waiting. In the early next morning, he was dead, and as she was walking out of her house, neighbors and villagers gathered around, looking at her, whispering only one word: mandrake. Today I'm gonna talk to you about a very special yet scary plant called mandrake. This plant is known for screaming so loud that it could end your life. You will be surprised, because as much as evil it might sound, today it is helping us save so many lives. Before we start, I'm Arij. Don't forget to push that like button, because you really don't want to miss any of the videos I'm gonna be sharing. Maybe this plant will sound familiar if I told you that it was in one of the scenes. It was seen in Harry Potter movies. Introduced as a plant which screams so loud whenever you try to pick it up from the soil. Some people still believe this till now. Farmers long ago in the history used to cover their ears whenever they try to gather it, or moreover use dogs. They tied ropes from the dog into the plant and the dogs will pull it out, just to avoid dying. To ancient people, you should avoid hearing the scream, because if it didn't kill you, it will curse you and curse your loved ones. The thing that made people believe this magical evil plant is that its roots was shaped like a human body. If you look at these pictures, it is very obvious. So it was very easy to be convinced that while you are picking up the plant, you are removing a human-like soul. Now, what is the truth behind its scream? Is it true? Fast answer: no, it's not. Sometimes it would make a very thin, low, intense volume while the roots are coming out from the soil. Oxygen entering into the soil might bring up this sound. But because this plant has an effect on the CNS, central nervous system, most of the farmers who are not professional enough for the mandrake gathering or picking up from the soil sometimes would get auditory hallucination and would be convinced that the plant was screaming while they were picking it up. And this myth lived for a very long time. It was even written in books, taught in literature. Anyone who would take this plant, boil its leaves, will end up having a panic attack, strong hallucinations, and a very fast heartbeat. And their eyes would be wide open. Many people died because of it. In that time, women were known for being evil if they had plants, because women's weapon was poison, and plants were used to poison people, mostly their husbands. But in reality, mandrake plant is not a magical plant, but it does affect your central nervous system. How? Well, actually, what it does, that after reaching your bloodstream, it can easily reach your whole body organs, especially your brain. Yes, it can cross into the brain like this. Not all molecules can do this because of something we call blood-brain barrier, but mandrake easily can. And its effect is blocking a very important chemical messenger called acetylcholine. Without acetylcholine, this chemical messenger, your heart cannot receive a message from it to slow down on its beating like there's no tomorrow, or to produce saliva from your mouth. It would make your mouth very dry. It won't let your sweat glands produce any sweat, so the person under poison might be very hot, but if you touch him, he will be dry as sand. This chemical messenger goes all the way in importance as letting you decide if you want to go to the bathroom despite you having a full urinary bladder. You can hold it in because of this messenger, acetylcholine. But if acetylcholine is blocked by mandrake active ingredient, you will be peeing all around whenever your bladder gets full. Your heart would be beating strongly and strongly until it stops, and even your brain starts system in your brain would reach a level that it no longer sends any coordination for your lungs to breathe. Now, why does the hallucinations occur? Under the same principle. You see, your brain have millions of cells, but they do not connect or communicate or coordinate with each other by touching. They only do it using a chemical messenger, acetylcholine. If it is blocked by mandrake and it sits on the cells, the doors of the cells where acetylcholine is supposed to bind. Taking mandrake is like getting your door jammed by a different key. You can no longer put the original key nor open the door. And if the cells cannot communicate and coordinate with each other, the brain would go on a la la land. It can no longer tell what is real and what is a fantasy. That's when the hallucination starts. Now, how does mandrake plant benefit us in the time being? Of course, it's not by killing and causing hallucinations, but at that time, in low doses, it could sedate patients. In time where sedation tools were very uncommon. Even it was used in very low doses to treat people with hysteria and anxiety disorder. Calm the patient down. Trust me, they worshipped this effect because back then there were no anesthesia. Surgeries were done with 5-6 men holding you down, and feeling the pain was a must. At least the mandrake didn't make the patient feel the knife. Nowadays we know that mandrake is from alkaloid tryptophan, and we studied its family and species to come up with the same effect but with less side effects. Even better, targeted effects. Like for example, targeting only the face or targeting only the legs, not the whole body. Mandrake plant used to be worshipped back then and even now because it was a plant that showed us that the human conscious, the same conscious used to build civilizations, to make wars, is very vulnerable and weak in front of a plant leaf that made it go woo-woo in just seconds. Avij was with you. Don't forget the like, subscribe, please. I wanna maybe go to 500 subscribers. So let's keep it going. Stay tuned for the next episode because it's gonna talk about a young guy whose life was messed up by a ChatGPT advice. You don't wanna miss out on this one. Adios, amigos.